I'm Tucker Dennis, recovery coach here at Sunshine Coast Health Center in Powell River. Welcome back to part 3 of making sense of life, or making sense of it all. This week's focus in part 3 is on unconditional love and how to live in a giving and a tolerant way. So when you consider that, what is unconditional love? And when you think about it, we're not really schooled in that idea of unconditional love. You know, oftentimes in our work, in our lives, in our friendships, in our marriages, partnerships, we put conditions on each other. If you behave this way, I'll act this way. If you treat me like this, I'll treat you like that. So, you know, the idea of unconditional love can seem quite lofty. You know, I've heard people say, well, I'm not a saint, I'm not perfect. And that's true. We are not perfect. But I think there's a place for intention and thinking about how we want to love not only others, but ourselves. You know, I think that there's a piece for talking about, you know, that unconditional love for ourselves. And from that, we can be a little more tolerant and giving with other people as well. So when you're thinking about unconditional love, you're probably thinking and realizing that it's definitely not easy. It's not our first response to practice this type of love with ourselves and with others. And a couple of the points in the material about, you know, setting out to start to practice unconditional love is things like intending to reserve judgment and criticism. Having realistic expectations of yourself and of others. You know, a lot of times we have these expectations in relationships and in our lives, and we don't really stop to think about, is this a realistic expectation? You know, am I being real in thinking that this is a possibility? And perhaps you are, and sometimes not. And the other point was living with an attitude of appreciation and gratitude. And what can come out of that is just sort of an easier approach to life and to relationships, to ourselves. When the Dalai Lama was asked, you know, what does he think the meaning of life is? He said, to be happy and to be useful. And you know, the word happy, I think, in our society, in our culture, you know, has its own, you know, brings with it its own set of expectations. You know, maybe another word for happy in this context might be content or deep contentment. So if we're practicing unconditional love, perhaps that happiness and contentment follow. And then we're motivated to serve something outside of ourselves. So this week, you know, as you're considering unconditional love and thinking about what impact would that have on my life, to start to practice that with myself first and then with others. As always, I look forward to your feedback, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks.